Hi Techie guys, I'm Nand Kishore Swami and today we would be learning about setting up an RPA bot right from just building a case on Pega PRPC and then building a robotic solution using Pega Robotic and then publishing that solution to the package server and deploying the solution on the target machine using Robot Manager. So we'll be doing all those things in this tutorial. So let's get started. Just log into your Pega PRPC and before we set up a RPA bot, we need to create four things. One is a operator ID that we are going to use with the runtime to log in. So runtime can identify which package should be downloaded from the package server and which package it should be running. So this is called as operator ID, then access group, and then work group, and then work queue. So let's configure all these things before we start building a case. So just click on your operator and then click on operator. So under the operator, first click on the profile page and update any of these information, whichever you like to update. And just make sure also this access group should be by default selected. Now click on the work page, and under the work page you should see certain information. So we'll change this default work group as well later on when we start updating the work group. Other than that, we also need to update certain work queue informations. And okay, let's have it created now. So let me make a work group here, uh, robot work group, and click on this open tab. So it should create another new work group. And let's go back to your operator ID and again go back to your profile page and open your access group as well. And again go back to your operator ID and click on the work, and now open the work queue. So the work queue has no item as of now, so let's click on add. Okay, and create a robot queue, robot queue, and click on this open. So basically now you should have all four things open: the operator ID, access group, and access group, work group, and your robot queue. So let's first make sure everything is okay with your operator ID. So in the work tab, we have mentioned the work group and then queue, and other thing you would remain default. Now click on the third tab, the security, that if you want to have any information need to be changed or the password, so these things you can update here. And the next tab is history, that you can keep it default. So this is what we have to make the changes for related to the operator ID. Once we are done with the operator ID, then we can move to access group first to update all the information, and then we'll update the work group, and similarly we'll update the work queue. So in the access group, let's mention the application name. So that should be the by default, which is here my app. And then what all access this group should have. So these are like developer, Pega Express, PX Express, and case manager 7, case worker, and case console, the robotic console. So just make sure you have robotic console added. It will make your robot manager available for this application. Once you have these portals available for this access group, then move on for adding the roles. So under the roles, we need to add a couple of more roles. So first one is already there, the application administrator, my apps administrator, and then Pega rules security, then my app API, the my app Pega API, and then next one we need to add the robotic administrator, which should be the Pega PRPC, Pega rules, then colon robotic administrator, and just hit scroll down so it will take to the robotic administrator. So this role will allow to access the robotic administrator roles. So now add another role, which is Pega rules Pega API. So it's Pega it Pega rules Pega API. Now add another one, which is Pega rules system admin 4. Which is system admin 4. And add another one, which is automation packages. Automation package management admin. Now add another role basically, which is Pega rules high availability admin. Then add another role, which is multi-tenant admin. And just last one, Pega rules system ops administrator. So these are the roles that we need to add for our work group. And now click on the Advanced tab. And just make sure this work pool is automatically selected here. And other things should remain default, just the by default. And just go ahead and save it. So we are done with access group. And we are also done with operator ID. So we'll save the operator ID as well. Okay. The queue name and the work group name are not yet ready, so we cannot save the operator ID. Let's go and create the work group first. So in the work group, let's give a name and then create an open. Here we can have the operator ID as a manager for this work group. So it's here. Once you're done with it, under the default work queue, just use the same work queue that we are creating newly. It's robot queue. Or let's mention the name as robot work queue. Work queue. Copy. Create an option. Go back to your work group. Just type default work queue name here. And that's it related to the work group. But before that, we need to finish out all the setting up the work queue. So in the work queue, this work queue would be utilized by robot. So we just click on the drop down under the standard, under the work queue tab and select robotic. And in the maximum queue length, we can make any number. So I'm just giving it to 30. And the maximum automation execution time, we can make it like in seconds. Let's make it 60 seconds. So this organization name, division and unit should be the same as mentioned under the work here. So it's NKS, div, unit. So just have the same mentioned here. It's div, unit, and save it. And now under the work group, just have the same work group, which is you can see the name. It's robot WG. So let's mention robot W, so WZ, and save it. Okay, this work group is not yet available, so let's go back to the work group and update it first. And the default queue is available. This manager is available, so all good. So let's save the robot group. So robot group is saved. Now go back to the work queue and save the. So we are all done. Let me take you through the all four things: the operator ID, work group, access group, and the work queue. So in the profile section, we just have the normal things like name, email ID, and the work group. Under the work, we need to mention, just make sure the organization unit is selected appropriately, and then the work group, then work queue. And under the security, you can have as per your requirement. Then for the robot work group, just have the administrator, add your operator ID or any of the operator ID. That doesn't make any difference. And under the work queue, just mention the work queue that you are going to use for your robotic queue. And for the access group, just have these portals. Under the portal, you just make sure the robotic console is being added. And under the roles, just make sure these roles are added. And then under the advanced tab, nothing need to be changed. It's all by default. Then similarly to the operation and history. Then go back to your robot queue and just make sure this is robotic is selected, and these numbers you can select as per your requirement. Under the organization, just select the same organization which is here for the operator ID. Here for the operator ID under the work. So now we are done setting up all four things: operator ID, access group, work group, and robot work queue. So once we are done setting up all these four things, we'll create a case now. So click on add case type under the case type and then add case type. So I'll just add a RPA case and click on submit. So once our RPA case is open, then click on workflow and add lifecycle. And the first stage that we are going to use is collect data. And under the process, just add a step, which is collect information. And just give a name like collect customer info. And then click on configure view. And in the field, let's have F name, last name, then city and just scroll it down, click on submit. Now click on the next stage, which is we are going to set for the robot processing. Click on the stage, click on step, and we can have anything here to choose. Use any utility, and let's select the change stage, or you can select anything. Anyhow we need to make the changes here. So it's robot process. And now just scroll or mouse over basically on the collect information or the robot queue and click on this little icon, this triangle kind of thing. Once you are here, so this would be a kind of robot activity. So now right click in the blank space, or first we need to click on the open process. We are not seeing all the options here, so just click on the open process, or we may need to save it before. And now right click. So still we don't see any option, so click on the open process. Now right click, click on add advanced shapes and then select to assign to robot queue and just drag it in between these start and end boxes and delete the existing one, and just make sure you have connected it properly. Similarly this one. And save it. So this is how we can configure our robot queue. So basically, if you go back to the flow, so there should be the two flow now, and you can check it under apps and just refresh. So now go to the apps. Again, select our RPA case. Then under the process, you can see the flows. And under the robot processing flow, now right click on the robot queue and click on view property. Once you click on the view property, you will see these options. So under the robot route to queue, just select our robot work queue. And under the automation, just give a name that we can use in our robotic automation. So RPA bot automation, or you can give any name. I'll just copy it and just note it down for our later use. And click on submit. Assignment validation criteria, there is nothing, so we'll just submit. So now we are done setting up our complete case. So basically, once we are done setting up all these four things, we need to go to the records and do a kind of mapping under the decision. So let's look for the decision here, and then decision table. So under the decision table, basically we need to change the decision for PY get access group for robot by work group. So this is here. So this is basically under the decision and then decision table, and we have open up the PY get access group for robots by work group, and then click on private edit and click on continue with private edit. And now you can add your work group here, which is robot. The one that we have created, it's ROBOTWG. So it's ROBOTWG. And then the access group. So the access group where we have my app administrator. So I'll just copy it. Then I'll go back to the decision table and just paste it in there. That's it. Now let's save. So we are good now. So basically, after creating all four things, which is operator ID, access group, work queue, we have created a decision table. So this will help any case assigned to this work group to pass on the right to process for this access group. So let me close it. So we are basically done setting up all the things. Now we'll go to our robotics studio.